Well, Kevin from the future here to tell you that we are going back to our Mathers on the Map Van Build Series 1.0 roots because this episode is a little bit more dry, more raw, more rugged because we're focusing more on the van build than actually creating a content episode, and that's just because of the nature of where we are in the build. There is a lot of mental energy going on right now where I am just sitting staring at a particular item in the van, trying to figure out how I'm going to do it and make sure there's no consequences when I'm implementing this further down the line in the episode. So bear with me here because it's going to be jumping around like crazy, and that's why I named this episode The Realities of a Van Build, especially in the early stages when you're trying to figure out your plans and what you're going to go. If you saw our last episode, then you know we are trying to work on the van for 35 days straight up until March 15th, where we're trying to get as much done as humanly possible, and my mind's been just so focused on the build rather than the episode. So like I said, if you can bear with us for this one, we're going to be jumping around a lot and we'll be taking you with us throughout the build process over the last 5 days of what we did on the van. Well, new day, new van build project. Today we are putting the water fill inlet into the driver's side of the van, and the shore power inlet on the passenger side. Two things. Taylor's at a bridal shower today, so she's not going to be here until this afternoon. So I'm hoping I can get as much done as possible, maybe work on some insulation on the water tank side. I'm still waiting on more wires to come through. They should be arriving tomorrow, so hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get that done and then get the plumbing side done, and then maybe start on the electrical side as well and get this area and the platform bed area finished, so then I can start working on the rest of the build as we get closer to the front of the van. For this build, we decided to go with a 36-gallon water tank that goes over the wheel well, which is awesome because it maximizes space. This thing is from Northwest Conversions, based out of Washington, but it's really nice. It has the cutout for the wheel well, goes right over it. We're going to insulate underneath. But I also love how they have a spout for the water fill. So instead of having it on the back side of your tank, you're able to actually fill it from the top and get the most fill possible, which is amazing because when we had it in our last van and we floored it, or we're going uphill, water could sneak out the drain hose and then go right through the floor. So this time it'll be on top, and I'm going to be putting a gravity fill right into this wall right here, and it'll be just like that. Super simple, super easy. The reason why I'm going gravity fill over city fill is because when we went to Baja, there was no pressurized water fill aqua purificadas, which is what they're called. So there's really no need, and you could just stick if you're at a city fill spot with like a normal garden hose, you can just stick the garden hose inside this. And I got the lock on it just in case, I don't know, people are trying to steal our fresh water. Maybe a bit overkill, but we have an 1.5 inch barb fitting right here and a 3/8 barb fitting for the air hose, the air vent. So we go right there, and boom, it's gonna be sweet. Well, I ran into a problem already. I need a hole saw to make a circle cutout in the sheet metal of the van. I don't have a large enough hole saw. My biggest one is 2.5 inches, which I need like 3. So off the True Value, get that saw. Well, that was a waste of time. They didn't have a 3.5 inch hole saw, so I need to run to Home Depot, but I figured I'd get the electric side, the electric short outlet done. Maybe go to Home Depot when I know I need more stuff, because I hate making multiple trips to Home Depot, so that's a real buzzkill. Here's where our 12-volt fuse panel is going to live, as well as our 120 distribution panel. So I'm going to put the shore outlet like right here. This is where all of our wires are going to be coming through. And then I can have, and I can do like that. I'm going to be that guy. I'll drill it just with this first, get the hole through, and then I'll go through the other side and do it, just so I know exactly where I want to be. And I'm going to take some masking tape and build like a little shield to collect all those metal fibers, because you don't want those collecting rust inside your bin. So. There are so many metal shavings from that. It's crazy. God, I hate metal shavings. Okay, well, we got it out. Now I'll just time to deburr, and then we'll paint it and then put it in. Since I scratched the paint here with the filer, let's hope this gets covered because I don't want black there. I was gonna do bolts because that's what I did on my last van, but then I realized if I ever had a problem with it and needed to replace it, then it would have been impossible. I would have had to rip up the interior to get to it. So I'm not gonna do bolts, I'm gonna do screws, and I have a piece of sheet metal back in the garage that I just practice on to see if I drill a hole and then a stainless steel screw, will it hold? My screw is not self-tapping, so I try to just screw right through it, and you can't do it, you need to drill a hole first, but it's on there and it is not moving at all. It's really strong. So I'm going to do it like this, that way if I ever need to replace it, I could easily get to it instead of trying to deconstruct the entire interior to remove those bolts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now that we're waiting for our paint to dry, we can wire this up before actually putting the shore power inlet in because it's a pretty tight cavity, and to get a screwdriver in there, it's just more of a pain in the butt. So you may as well hook the cord up and then just run it through the hole and then screw the inlet down. So let's do that. I got 10 gauge marine wire 3-2, so it's got a ground, hot, and a neutral for AC, which is exactly what you need. You don't really want to go less than 10 gauge for, I guess, 30 amps. You kind of want to go a thicker cord there. So we're going to go 10. The rest of the wires inside are like 12 to 14 gauge. Okay, here we go. 3 wires. Goes into the obvious color. I was almost going to put this on, and then I realized I have this on it, so I'm going to run this through. I'll screw it on the outside, and then we'll put this through. Now the wire's beeping. I'm good. For everyone worrying, I made sure the wire wasn't touching anything in the wood there, so it was somewhat responsible, I guess, but don't do this at home. Just wrap beetle tape around there. What the beetle tape looks like. And then just run this up. Well, since I don't want to go to Home Depot and True Value did not have the hole saw size that I needed, I'm going to start on the furring strips, which wasn't my intention. So gotta make some progress while it's sunny out. Tomorrow's gonna rain, so I'll go to Home Depot tomorrow. By the way, I got this really cool extension cord that has like midpoint outlets. It's actually for Christmas lights, but it works great for having one single extension cord for multiple tools. I could plug table saw into this, miter into this. There's one even further that I could have another tool in if I space out my work area correctly. It's the little things. So I got the 2 main supports of the furring strips done, which is this piece and this piece right here, which are going to be the strongest pieces of this wall where my electrical house is going to be. I want to have it super strong because I'm going to be hanging my inverter here. I'm going to be having batteries attached to the 3/4 inch plywood that's going to attach to the furring strips. And what I did was actually bolt this down through these factory holes so I can get my hand behind it, which it's going to be super strong. And then I have these real thick self-tapping screws for the spots where there's no holes, and 5/16 bolts going through. So this thing's not going anywhere, super strong. For these ones that don't have that holes, or if I can't get my hand behind it, I'm just going to use these. But I wanted to get the 2 outside ones as strong as possible to have the 3/4 inch plywood bolt down into it. And then, I'll just put them here and here. And then we'll be ready to do that plywood once we get the wires done and get it all set up. It's going to be sick. Oh, that's sunk. That's what you call counter? Counter sunk. Look at that, baby. Let's go. We're good.
Those look pretty good.
You could also template out the 3/4 inch plywood and get that shaped out.
We could.
Instead of working on that side. There's 2 different paths we could take. That's the problem.
I'm back from my plans for the day, just making sure Kevin's keeping the project on track.
You're the boss.
I'm the boss.
It's true.
Better get moving. I think we continue with the furring strips. One thing at a time.
Alright.
So it's freaking freezing out, and I told Kevin I would be more help if it was warmer in here, because I'm so chilly. So he's setting me up.
Alright, you're on.
What a good husband.
You're on. Is it on?
Oh yeah.
Now we just gotta get this insulated a bit, but I'll have to shut the door.
If we cut everything, all the furring strips and the 2 side pieces, we could not put any of them in today and get a little bit done tomorrow.
And then I'll drill everything.
Yeah. And then we could actually get some stuff on the walls. Even though it's Super Bowl Sunday and I gotta get a soft pretzel tray.
We will be able to insulate and finish wiring tomorrow.
I thought we didn't get the big red wire until tomorrow.
I still haven't ordered that one.
So I thought we couldn't do that side.
We could definitely do this side.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we have to wait till the solar anyway for this.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. That's a big hold up.
Yeah, that is. Especially with the heated hold up. We could get this in and then we could have heat. Okay, new day. Just got the driver's side furring strips in. I just got wires that came in from a shipment so I could finish wiring this. And I got the heater going to keep me nice and toasty warm on this rainy day. So yeah, things are looking pretty good. If only I was able to get the water inlet done, then I could be working on the plywood. It's raining. I wouldn't be able to do the plywood. Alright, finish the wiring. I'm talking too much. Let's get it done. I got the 12-3 gauge wire that's wrapping up and around the back shelf. There's this little corner where you can run wires down through the sheet metal, which is really nice. And I put this actually, the rubber trim for the windows on the little sharp edges there. I'm going to do it for the rest of this area where I'm running the wires, but I'm really happy with it. It saves a lot of length. I bought 30 foot of wire. I only really needed like 15, 20, so that could have saved me a lot of money, but oh well. Now I'm working on the remaining 12 volt components. I have 100 foot of this 14 gauge, which I guess the story is buy more than what you initially think you need, because you'll probably end up needing more, because this is the second round of wire that I'm ordering. And yeah, I went 14 gauge because it's a little weaker in terms of like pliability, easier to bend and stuff. I made sure all my big components are 12 gauge, even though I did 16 gauge for majority of my stuff in the last van and it worked out fine. But since I'm running a bit further lines this time, I'm going with the thicker gauge wire. Hello.
It's cold.
How are you?
Might as well be snowing out.
It's warm in here. You cold?
Yeah, but I only just got in here, so that's probably why. Alright.
I got the furring strips in.
Yeah, looks good.
Well, it's a new day. It's a sunny day. And yesterday, while it was raining, we went to Home Depot to get hole saws so we could finally create the hole for the water inlet. And this thing is about 77 or 78 millimeters in thickness or in diameter. And I bought a 3.5, 3 1/4, and 3 1/8. And the 3 1/8 is 79 millimeters big in terms of diameter. And this is 77 or 78. So I'm going to go with 3 1/8, and it's going to be a really snug fit. But the reason why I'm going so snug is because these screw holes here are pretty much like pretty close to the actual hole itself. So if I go too big, then those screw holes, you know, might pose a challenge, so I'm doing that, and we'll see how it goes. Perfect.
I wrote a Valentine's poem that's just like McGill on the Map is completely original. Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm allowed to come down here and bother Kevin and you.
That's the Taylor for Valentine's Day.
That's correct. I'm on my way to New Hampshire.
All right, have fun. I'll be here. I figured out where I'm gonna put the water inlet, and it's gonna be right below this like ridge in the van, this like little bend curve. So I think it's gonna be somewhere right here. Now I decided to make like a wood gasket on the back so I could screw it into and really pull it tight, because it's not perfectly flat, so it's making it a bit of a challenge. And if there's any gaps, I might put a bead of butyl tape. There is a weather gasket, but I don't know if it's gonna be thick enough to create a perfect seal, so I'm gonna use butyl tape and the weather gasket, and it'll squeeze against that wood, clamping it down, making it really tight. Strong. But this one's pretty tricky, you know, this van. Not as straightforward as the last one, that's for sure. That was a lot more metal shavings than I was hoping for. I'm gonna get the blower, blow all this out, because I hate rust. From the inside, I put a lot more tape just to protect it from falling down in the crevice. Did a pretty good job. Not too much metal shavings on this side as there are on the outside, which also you don't want them falling into this little nook right there, so I don't know. I opt to do it on the outside, but I don't know what's best, honestly. To each their own. So I'll clean this up. I gotta drill the 3 holes and then paint it, deburr it, and get it installed. Taylor popped in. She's going to work today though, unfortunately, so she's not gonna be here for the van build. Bummer!
Bummer. It's a nice day too.
It is nice.
Beautiful day.
This little deburring tool I never used before, but instead of filing down the metal edges, you could just deburr it with this. It's pretty nice. It's pretty good. Oh wow. We are now deburred, filed down, ready to go. Let's see how it looks. Alright, so that looks pretty good with the weather gasket. Oh yeah, I don't even need to put butyl tape with the weather gasket. It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, it's good. It doesn't leave us alone.
YouTube people, listen to me real good. Through rain, shine, sleet, or snow, I'll continue to torture his clients at the window. All right? Thank you. This is McGill on the Map talking to you, not the non-original Mathers on the Map. This original saying is McGill on the Map.
Is the website still working yet, or is it still broken?
Website is good in Utopia. Okay, that's where most people listen to it. I don't see Swift around anywhere, so that means KJ.
You just missed her.
Yeah, KJ's
Got
on.
called into work. Just got some packages in the mail. I think this might be our water tank fill hose, because the one at Home Depot is absolutely insane. All right, look at this. This is our water fill hose. It's all food safety. I don't know, meets all those standards. And super pliable. Compared to this frickin' thing, which you can't bend at all. So this is going to be really difficult to work with. Plus, it's so thick that if I put this on here, it's going to block the amount of space I have for the 3/8 hose, unless I don't go all the way on it, which is kind of impractical. So this is much thinner. Ooh, a little tight, but it goes on, and I'll be able to get a hose on no problem. So this is what we're going with. I do wish it was clear, but that's okay. It's probably like UV resistant or whatever, so I guess that's why it's not. Taylor's gonna help me hold on to that wooden plate, I guess, for lack of a better term. to really squeeze this against the metal. I did put a little bead of butyl tape around the bottom of the water inlet, but it should go pretty smooth.
I'm on the inside.
Yeah, you're on the inside. We got our hose. There's our white and green hose.
Oh, what's this for?
That's our water inlet.
Oh, instead of that big one?
Yeah. I wish it was clear, but... What? Okay. Okay. That's what I call secure fitting, people.
My baby knows what he's doing. Good stuff.
I like it.
Alright, give me a smooch. I'm gonna be late. Love you.
Love you. Well, you're stuck with me, guys. I just added a 4th screw just to make sure it's really tight because the bottom was, I don't know, a little out, so now it's perfect. Test fit is in. Looking good. Nice and strong. I'll be able to put all our stuff on here. I'll have holes that allow wires to come through as well as our water inlet, but overall pretty satisfied with this. Use the cardboard to template that out. I'll sand it down now, make it nice and clean. We're good to go. Kind of bouncing around a little bit right now, but I need to go to Home Depot to get more birch plywood to finish the same wheel well cutout on the electrical side as I did for the water side, and I'm still waiting for wires, so I can't finish everything yet. So I'm kind of in limbo, but I have time to hook up the ground to the vehicle chassis, and basically what I'm going to do is just sand down the raw metal, stick in a bolt, and then I just got this new lug hammer crimping tool by AMZ CNC, and it's really simple. It goes up to 4/0, which is why I got it, because I need to crimp to the 4/0 wire. So I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to take the end of this, rip off some of the insulation, and we'll get this hooked up, and then I will sand that down and connect it. Go. Okay, that's all. I ain't going anywhere. I feel pretty confident about that.
We're officially back. I'm back. Not working today. It's day 29, or 29 more days until crunch time.
Crunch time.
We're making progress. And it's nice out. And it's February. It's actually Valentine's Day today. And the weather is just glorious.
This is how we spend Valentine's Day. True love. Right?
True love.
I mean, what else would we rather be doing than van build?
I can think of a few things.
I believe we are done wiring officially.
Oh, happy day.
We have 12 volt components that will require its own fuse. Technically, I could run 17 because I'll have our reading lights in the back, which have their own USB on its one single circuit instead of 2. So we have space for 18, so we have 2 more slots to add if we want to add something. But other than that, we are maxed out. On the AC side, we have 4 spaces, 4 circuits, and they're already utilized. We can add 2 more if we need to, but I think we'll be fine for AC.
Whatever that means. All I know is that we're done wiring, and I am super excited.
Now we can put some insulation in, get the wood in, and then start...
Framing!
Start what?
Framing?
Framing. I thought you said braining. I was like, what does that mean?
Framing. That'll be nice. We are moving along.
Yeah, so now we can add insulation, and then we need to add more rubber edge trims to the sharp edges. And then On to the next stuff.